cameras. What's going on here? What's this all about?
Well, I think I mentioned it before in one of the shows that I was on, that Commissioner Ballinger tasked me with the job duty of finding some kind of security camera system for Kiwanis Park area for the new $500,000 playground equipment investment that we did. So I've been working on that for about 3 months, and got a few bids and different solutions on paper to share with the council. But during that process, the Clinton Police Department, Chief Lowers and Chief Deputy or Deputy Chief Todd Ropp asked me if I would consider a joint project with them to look at a system called Flock Safety, and they provide security cameras for parks. But not only that, they also provide security cameras and license plate readers throughout the city, placed strategically throughout the city of places of entry and exit to deter crime, things like that. So had a discussion with the commissioners and got their approval to start looking into that. So that's what we did, and we had the presentation last night. So it was a good presentation. The entire meeting lasted over an hour, so it was a good meeting, good presentation, and some good discussion on it.
So will those two sets of cameras be like different purchases or for different purposes? How will that work?
One purchase, two different reasons for purchase. The park is my main concern, to get security out there and surveillance out there. That's my main concern, and then just the partnership with the police department to add on to their project, license plate readers, and also security in other points of the city. So it's a joint project, and we're starting out small with a smaller set of cameras, but then the thought is maybe build on that. It's new technology, so we'll see where it leads us, because basically it can the park security, not necessarily license plate reader. But then again, we might find out down the road that we need that as well. So yeah, gotcha.
And the park security, I know that kind of goes back to just some of the issues that have arisen over the years at Kiwanis Park. Just some of the things that happen over there. So
well, the problem is the park is it seems like it's in the middle of town, sort of, but it's also secluded by
very isolated, kind of.
There's only one way in and one way out, and that's an issue. And that's one thing that having a discussion with Chief Lowers, that's sort of the problem, because you can have someone out there vandalizing the park, and the police regularly patrol the park. They pull in, but as soon as they pull in, they're seen by the person vandalizing, so they could take off. So I do give them, the police department, credit for patrolling the park, but with the only the one entry and one exit, it makes it kind of difficult. So we do need some security out there. And one good thing with these cameras out there would be it's 24/7 security. The cameras are always on. It's 360 camera. They're recording. They also have intelligence where they can notify the police department of presence there in the park after hours. So that's another thing that we're looking into. So if the park is closed and the camera picks up on a person, and it's smart enough, I'm told, to distinguish between a person and an animal. So it knows if a person's in the park, and it will notify law enforcement who's ever working this. I'm assuming the sergeant will be notified, and they can, when they get the notification, they can patrol out there. So, and not only that, like I said, it's recorded. So if an incident would happen, then we can go back and pull the recording and get details of that. So.
Sure. Gotcha. Well, on that note, what did you say? You may have said the cost, and I missed it. Forgive me for that.
So those cameras are $3,000 a year. That's just for the security camera. The license.
That seems reasonable.
It is. And my thought is, because again, I had some other solutions in place to bring to council, and those, I'm not saying those solutions are bad solutions, but those solutions comes with issues that we have to figure out, like connectivity, to the police department. We have to run some kind of internet. Fiber is the preferred method, and that adds a monthly cost right there. it also, you have to have a place to store the hardware. So those particular solutions have to have a computer server to access the cameras. So you got to have equipment out there. We don't really have a place except for the water wells out there that's offside a little bit. So those have to be stored inside of those. Well, that's not a good place to put those because it's wet. We'd have to have something around those servers. So there's different issues with those that causes some issues that the flock camera system we wouldn't have that. It's just a camera in place that is maintained by the company, and they have their own internet connection. They have their own power source, solar power. We don't have to run any kind of power with these other solutions. We would have to do that, and it just gets kind of costly. So I mean, this is $3,000 per camera every year. That might sound like a lot when you start adding it up through the years, but really, it's we own the cameras, we own all the data, but the cameras are maintained. So if they break, part of the subscription that the yearly cost takes care of all that.
Sure.
Come out and replace them, or any kind of upgrade. If they upgrade the cameras, new technology, ever evolving, if they come up with a different kind of camera that would give us better security, then we would get those too. So
I see.
That's part of the yearly fee.
Sure. Interesting.
So it's interesting. I think that's the best solution, but again, that's up to the council. And we heard the presentation last night, so I'll have several meetings with the commissioners and go with their wishes, and we'll also meet with the police department. And again, this is a joint project. I'm mainly concerned with the park. They're concerned with the other areas of the city with the license plate readers. So we'll work with the police department and the commissioners directly and get their wishes.
Sure. Gotcha. Any timeline on when we may see the go up and live and all that?
Well, mine will be immediate. If we get the okay for this project, my security cameras are already budgeted, so that's not an issue. Police department, I don't believe they got their cameras in the budget, so unless we can find some funding, that side of it may have to hold off. But we've got an agreement with the company that we would get the deal that we were given because we're buying a few cameras. We've got that worked out where we can go ahead and do the park install, and then later on, once we get the budget taken care of, the finances taken care of for the others, then we can proceed with those. So
Sure. Gotcha. Very good. Tony Harris is the city administrator, our guest in studio this morning, following up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. Tony, as we catch up here for this morning, what else went down at the council meeting last night?
Well, we Kurt Homan from DCDC was present, and I know I keep bringing this up as well, but I think it's worthy of bringing up. But the partnership between DCDC and the city of Clinton and the county it's a great partnership. And Kurt and he even mentioned it last night in the meeting that he spends quite a bit of time in my office, and we have lots of discussions, and he does. And that's not a bad thing; that's a good thing. And that just tells us it tells the commissioners there are a lot of good things happening within the city, and it's worthy of conversations between the two of us. So with that being said, we placed on file the city's part of the funding, and that's $10,000 for operational, just $10,000 committed for operational costs, and then $5,000. This is a year for micro grants, and micro grants would just help small businesses throughout the city, and that's they've the DCDC has supported lots of small businesses, mainly up on the square. Most of it's up on the square to support their business. So good things there. And Kurt and I, we've got some things in the work that can't really talk a whole lot about. It's all confidential at this point, but outside of the two big industries coming in. So lots of good things. That's
pretty big. I mean, those two industries coming in is really.
And what's funny, I told someone the other day, it's, when you see something big like that happen, which started with QuickWall, that triggers things, and that's what's good for the city of Clinton and the county of DeWitt. When you see one big thing, it just triggers other good things. So you have QuickWall that come in, that's coming in, and then we have the announcement of Myers Industry coming in. Because of those two big things, we've been taking a lot of calls from, again, I can't say too much, but different businesses, calling us like, hey, Tony, hey, Kurt, we see good things happening in Clinton. We want to be part of that. So
Mhm.
what do you think about this business? And so that's been great taking those calls. The only problem is we have issues with trying to find locations. We want,
As evidenced by trying to find a city hall, right? Yeah, yeah,
yes,
sure,
and that's being worked on too. But
sure,
you
sure.
know, locations, we want the city. It's no secret that the commissioners want to see the city grow on the west side out along 51, the bypass 51 along on the west side there. They want to see that grow west of Route 51. So
Mhm.
we're kind of concentrating on that area. We just have to find ground, and that's kind of that's looking to be kind of difficult to find ground. But we've got some different ideas. Kurt and I are meeting again today with a contractor with some different ideas and an investor
Uh-huh.
that might be interested in bringing some other businesses in town and some housing in town. So
Sure.
we'll do that and just trying to identify some of those locations on that
Gotcha.
west side.
Gotcha. Very good. Very good. On that note, Tony, let's take a break and come back with some more. Tony Harris, City Administrator for the City of Clinton, our guest in studio. More to come with Tony on the morning show. WHOW.
Ace is a place for helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Peterson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us. Helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
If the flu's got you down, the Warner Hospital and Health Services walk-in clinic can help you feel better fast. CEO Paul Scarron inviting you to make us your backup plan to better health. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
This is Seth Lawrence, News and Program Director for WHOW and WEZC. We take pride in being Clinton and Central Illinois' local radio stations each and every day, 7 days a week. What does local news mean? Here's a sample.
There are several sites in town if you drive around that may have some potential. So we're just trying to narrow down.
Obviously, they just copied that education plan from one of Muhammad, and I'm assuming it's the same size for one of Muhammad's, coming up with the same figures.
They tell you how to make a smart house with things that turn off and on if you can't really turn a light bulb button or a switch. And, it's just amazing. So
you hear the local people that make the news every day, 7 days a week on the big 1520 AM, 92.3 FM, and 106.5 FM WHOW, and on your easy choice for soft hits, 95.9 FM WEZC.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Tony Harris, City Administrator for the City of Clinton. And Tony, as we catch up here for this morning, we were talking about development, and one thing you mentioned, and I wanted to back off of, but I need to get a break in. The idea that some of this momentum being created, or the momentum being created by the announcement of industry coming to Clinton, is probably an example of how economic development can be momentous in a way where one success begets another success begets another success. Do you mind speaking to that a little bit and what you're seeing there?
Yes. Yeah, like I said, those two industries, and that's, and I didn't think about that until I started taking some of the calls, and Kurt said the same thing, is that when we take these calls of different businesses looking to talk to us, that's what they're saying. Like, we've got some good things coming in. We're hearing good things about the city, and we want to be part of it. So, yeah, so they're paying attention. Investors and these businesses are paying attention, and we just have to be ready. And I mentioned ground. That's kind of our issue right now, and that's what Kurt and I have been working on nonstop is trying to find ground, and we've been working with one, and I can bring this up because it was out there on Facebook, and I have a good working relationship with the potential owners. But the Shack 2 is a restaurant.
Mhm.
I think everybody in town that's been here for any length of time would remember the Shack restaurant
Mhm.
that used to be on Grant Street near Van Buren. They're looking at opening a Shack 2, kind of an offset of the original Shack. So that's very exciting. And, I just spoke with the potential owners this morning. They're actually meeting with a builder this morning, and they're going to meet with me this afternoon just to go over that, make sure that the zoning is all good and all
Mhm.
that. So we're very excited about that. They've already found the location. So it's like you said, it's the industries, it's the little businesses like that, and the other ones that we're working with. But as we're navigating through all of that with these other businesses, we also need to be navigating through the city too, to expand the city boundaries. And again, when I talk about ground, there's potential ground out there, like I discussed on the west side, but that ground's not in the city limits. So
Mhm.
we have to find ground that's contiguous to the city, that's got line work, parcel lines that are touching the city, so we can have that. We're all about supporting DeWitt County as well, but we also want to grow our boundaries as well. So
Mhm.
when we're looking at that ground, we want to be able to expand the city boundaries in that area. And we have done that over the years on that west side that I discussed. And the city even owns some ground over there that we're looking at. That could be a place that we could bring some economic growth businesses there, but that could also be a place for subdivisions, and I've
Mhm.
mentioned that
Mhm.
in different meetings too. We need housing
We need
because of
housing.
this growth.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
so we got to navigate through that too. Which is best in this lot, this ground that the city owns. What's best,
Mhm.
housing or businesses? So we got to navigate through all of that, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of work, but between the city of Clinton, the county of DeWitt, and DCDC, we're prepared to make it all work, and we're right in the middle of it.
How do you foresee expansion of TIF fitting into some of this, and when does that have to take place, do you think, to make some of this work?
Well, that has to take place immediately, and we are
Okay.
working on that. Clint Lichenwalter, the city's treasurer, and myself, and the mayor, we attended a class. I think I brought that up in one other meeting, a TIF class. We've got an idea, what TIF is and what it can do, and we know that it can do a lot. It's TIF is a good thing.
Mhm.
So we're in the process of looking at a couple of contractors to come in and help us with that. But we just have to identify those and figure out that we have to identify the areas. Consultants, I'm sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. We have to identify areas that are blighted areas, that are a little rundown areas that can improve. But not only we have to identify some businesses, some business need in that area. So that's what we're doing right now, and we're going to get someone on board that can help us with that. So we're committed to that, and I've had these businesses, that's the first thing that they ask, can we get a TIF district, or show me the areas that are in a TIF district, and what can the city do for us?
Mhm.
Because they need support too. We need, if we're going to support a business or even industry, we have to be ready to support them financially in any way that we can, whether it's through tax incentives, tips, or anything like that.
Got it. Tony, on that note, let's wrap it up, my good man. We're talking a little bit about the next meeting. Sounds like we're going to have a levy hearing next time on December the 2. Tell us about the levy this year. What do we know?
Yeah, so I just the levy is something new to me. I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm learning. I had a conversation with Commissioner Tom Edmonds before we went on the air. And
how's Tom doing?
He's doing good. He's doing really good. He's able to join us through Zoom at the city council meetings. But I tell you what, man, he's a very, very intelligent guy. And when it comes to finances, he knows it.
Mhm.
Between him and Clint,
Yeah.
they know it. But I was asking some questions about that, and he told me, he said, tell the public to come out to the hearing if they have any questions. And as Commissioner Wise said last night in the meeting, we get lots of complaints, lots of negativity on taxes and things like that. But this is a way for the citizens of Clinton to come and ask questions. contact me, contact one of your commissioners, and ask the questions. Take a look at the tax levies. If you have questions on it, come to that meeting and ask those questions. And that's the whole reason for this next meeting is for the public to come in, and if they see issues or if they need clarification on something, to come in and ask. So
very good, Tony. Always good to see you, my good man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you, Seth.
Yeah, hope you have a good one. Tony Harris, City Administrator of the City of Clinton, my guest in studio for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Of course, we're live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news comes your way next on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.